G'day, my name's Peter Richardson. I've been many things: a physio, a football soccer player, a parent, president, secretary, treasurer, coach, and more recently a coach and researcher who's specialised in girls soccer and particularly girls futsal. I suppose apart from a personal interest, because I had a daughter that played, I've got two sons who played and they were both older, but I found that there were a number of girls playing in the club at that stage who had lots of ability and great attitude, but I was conscious there weren't the same degree of opportunities for them at that stage at a regional level, and also most of the coaches sort of treated them in a slightly odd way. There were exceptions, but had some difficulty in adapting to the fact that the girls didn't have identical needs to boys. Yeah, look, and the longer I've coached, the more I think that's true. I think that it's a bit of a challenge because on the one hand, the girls, some of the coaches treat the girls differently in ways that they shouldn't. For example, they compare the average girl to the best boy and then assume girls can't do things compared to the best boys, which I don't agree with. I think that physically the girls are capable across the board of doing pretty much anything the boys can do. And they also underestimate the qualities that the girls have. I mean, the girls, one of the things that attracted me to coaching the girls was that they far more inclined than most of the boys are at playing cooperatively. They're very team orientated, very socially socially intelligent, and I found that really interesting because I was interested in how my players thought much more than just what they were mechanically able to do. I suppose in retrospect, I look back, it's a bit of a embarrassment that I was surprised how good the girls were. I'll be honest. I'd been doing a little bit of travel overseas, and there were a number of girls who played locally, and I'd seen them at a young age and thought, yeah, they're good players. And then there'd been a bit of a gap, and I saw these girls a year or two later and watched several of them playing in mixed rep squads in Bendigo, and they were really good players. Like, they were the standout players in mixed teams at 10 and 11 years of age. And the girls had always been the ones who'd started early and had developed both the physical abilities. As I mentioned just before, most of the girls, even at a young age, were, I think, tactically smarter than the boys and more able to see the big picture. The boys, and I think, without being nasty, I'm not a big fan on generalisations, but most boys tend to be very individual focused, and the girls, it's generally the opposite. Now, a game like soccer or futsal are both team sports, and a good team tactical brain and a vision that goes beyond just your own personal interests is a huge advantage. And not surprisingly, the girls that I'd seen locally here were often the playmakers in the teams they played. They could connect with other players in their team in a way that not many of the boys, even the very skillful boys, were not quite at the same level. One of the things that comes through in the research is that a lot of beliefs are learned very early on, and in a whole range of areas, and physical activity and beliefs about physical capacity are one of them. I'd be inclined to try and attract more girls into playing what I think is an absolutely fantastic game, whether it's outdoor or whether it's futsal, at a much younger age. Because I think if the girls have developed the abilities, the confidence follows the abilities and the motivations follows the confidence. If they've got that from a very young age and they're early learning, and it's almost preschool level it has to start, is the reality, the girls can learn at a very, very young age, and every single one of them can learn this. I'm convinced of this more than I ever have been before, that every single child has the capacity to learn that there's something in this game for them, that they can learn it, they can be good at it, and they can contribute to a team. So if there's one thing I'd do, it would be to specifically target getting girls in. Why? Because they're still underrepresented relative to the numbers in the population. I mean, they deserve the right to have those opportunities available. I think the boys gain from it. If we get the girls in at a young age, the girls can make the game different and, in my view, much, much better.